Last week we drove the Turquoise Trail in all its beauty and quirk. This week we're continuing our 5-part series and heading to Albuquerque, New Mexico. We've been to Albuquerque a lot, but this trip I'm looking at it strictly through the eyes of a tourist. We found a few things we hadn't seen before, and this first one we didn't even realize was here. Petroglyph National Monument comprises of 4 main areas, each offering unique experiences. Piedras Marcadas Canyon provides a 1.5-mile round-trip trail with views of around 400 petroglyphs. Boca Negra Canyon features paved trails leading to over 100 petroglyphs. Recanada Canyon offers a 2.2-mile trail showcasing approximately 300 petroglyphs. At Volcano's Day Use area, you can explore 5 dormant volcano cones and enjoy panoramic views. Each area has different hours, so I've included a link in the description. The park is day use only and free. You don't have to stop by the visitor center, but if you do, you can watch a movie, visit the gift shop, and talk to someone about each of the areas and the trails. There aren't any trails at the visitor center, but there is an example of an Orno oven used to cook and fire pottery by the natives. So cool. You'll have to drive to the areas you want to visit. We decided to visit Boca Negra Canyon. We spent the morning finding as many petroglyphs as possible. The petroglyphs at the monument were created by various cultures over 1,000 years. The ancestral Puebloans, ancestors of the modern-day Pueblo tribes, are believed to have carved many of the images between 1300 and 1600 CE. Later, Spanish settlers added their own symbols, blending cultural influences. The carvings were made by chipping away at the desert varnish, a dark coating on the basalt rocks, revealing the lighter stone beneath. A cross might have been carved by a Spanish settler, missionaries, or native people who had converted to Christianity, or who were influenced by colonial presence. Many of the petroglyphs have sacred meanings associated with their ceremonies or prayers. Symbols such as spirals, zigzags, and stars may represent spiritual journeys, life cycles, or celestial events. Some of the images reflect clan symbols or personal signatures used by individuals or families. For instance, the bear claw, turtle, or bird might represent different clans. Human figures might represent ancestral beings, shamas, or ceremonial dances. There are several abstract geometric designs thought to symbolize life symbols or paths. Some symbol meanings are unknown, and some may be kept private, to be kept as part of oral traditions. The park was established in 1990 and spans over 7,200 acres. It's managed through a partnership between the National Park Service and the City of Albuquerque and the State of New Mexico. One of our favorite things to do in Albuquerque is to visit Old Town. It's not just a place to see, it's a place to feel. It's tradition, history, and heart, all woven into one walkable village. Old Town was founded in 1706 by Spanish colonists. It was one of the earliest European settlements in the Southwest that was built around tradition, a central plaza, a church, and a community. But the story of this land begins long before that. For centuries, it was home to native peoples, the Puebloans, whose culture still pulses through the region. The main historic district is just a few blocks, easily walkable, but packed with over 150 shops, galleries, and restaurants. There's a real mix of what you'll see here. The area is designed for slow exploration. Walking through courtyards, discovering small shops, lingering by fountains or benches. We decided to get off our feet and take a rest to enjoy the view and do some people watching. I asked the hubs to look like he was having fun. We had to do take 2 on this. The hubs had coffee, but I wanted to try something different. I had the blood orange herbal tea. I think this was the best herbal tea I have ever had, and I'm not kidding. Venture outside the plaza through the narrow streets, adobe buildings, and small shops. These areas are less commercial. We had a picnic lunch just north of the plaza and the park. The park is surrounded by some of Albuquerque's many museums. We've been mooch-docking at some family's house east of Albuquerque. If you're a resident of New Mexico, you can get tickets to many museums at a discounted rate. So the hubs went along to see the Botanical Garden and the Aquarium, which are right next to each other. Did you know you can go to your public library and check out a Discovery Pass that allows free admission to many of the area's museums? That's a pretty sweet deal if you live in New Mexico. But if you don't, many of the state museums have a free day during the month, so it's worth the effort to check the museum website to see if you'll be in the area during that time. Another great deal is buying the New Mexico Culture Pass. For $30, you can visit each state park and museum. The pass is good for 1 year. I've put the links in the description for more information on ways to get a discount on New Mexico's great places to visit. Somewhat of an oddity, but I think it's very cool, is a musical highway on Route 66. The rumble strips on the edge of the road are precisely spaced to create vibrations that correspond to the melody of America the Beautiful. To hear it clearly, you should drive at 45 miles an hour. It's only on the eastbound side between mile marker 4 and 5. It's no longer actively maintained, and it's not as loud as it used to be. One of the more popular things to do in Albuquerque, but something we've never done, is ride the aerial tramway up Sandia Peak. I've been on lots of chairlifts and gondolas, so I wasn't expecting to be too impressed. They ask that you get your tickets online. The tramway departs every 20 to 30 minutes and only takes 15 minutes to get to the top. Gondolas can take as many as 50 people, so if you go during a busy time, you might be packed like sardines. A guide talks to you as you ascend. Our guide was very good and infused some humor to make it even more interesting. There's 2 cars in operation, one going up and one coming down, using a counterweight system. You're traveling about 12 miles per hour. The tram opened in 1966 and was the longest of its kind in the world until 2010. It's still the longest aerial tram in the Americas. Not only is the view quite impressive, the lack of towers that support the cables make it an engineering marvel. In addition to the towers at the terminal, there's only 2 additional towers supporting the cables. The system is engineered to withstand extreme winds, icy conditions, and temperature fluctuations that are common in high desert and mountain climates. Okay, we're impressed. When you reach the top, you're at 10,378 feet, so you'll be 20 to 30 degrees cooler than the city below. Dress appropriately. From this vantage point, you can see the Rio Grande Valley and the Albuquerque skyline. On a clear day, you can see distant mountains and 11,000 square miles. Some people ride the tram and do some hiking. In the winter, you can use the tramway to access a ski area. Some people make dinner reservations and eat once they're at the top. But most people just ride it for the view. We planned on coming down when we could see the city lights, but my body was screaming, "Go down," because of the altitude. So we caught the next tram. In a past life, we flew hot air balloons commercially. This in part is why we're so familiar with Albuquerque. We flew for fun, we flew media, even getting the kids involved, and did commercial flights here too. For me, someone who really hates crowds, I have to say fighting the crowds for this event is worth it. So our last activity in Albuquerque is visiting the Anderson-Abruzzo Albuquerque International Balloon Museum. The museum starts by introducing the early history of hot air balloons. There's a display about the Montgolfier brothers and their balloon launch in September of 1783. The first passengers were a duck, a sheep, and a rooster. This is a story that is often told during a first flight ceremony. Modern hot air ballooning began when Ed Yost, an American aviation engineer, created a reusable balloon envelope made of synthetic fabric and paired it with a propane burner to provide a consistent and controlled heat source. This allowed the balloons to stay aloft longer and steered more reliably by riding air currents at different altitudes. In October of 1960, Ed made the first successful modern hot air balloon flight in Nebraska. By the 70s and 80s, ballooning began to surge and became a recognized sport with championship festivals and pilot licensing programs. Balloon rallies began to pop up in small towns across America to draw people to their towns. But the largest rally by far is the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. Just to give you an idea of how big it is, on average, there are 880,000 visitors who come, 620 balloons registered for the event, 120 special-shaped balloons, pilots representing 18 countries, 450 porta-potties are set about, 72,000 donuts, 1,200 margaritas, and 300,000 breakfast burritos are consumed. The museum also gives you insights as to the crazy culture that developed around the sport. The Hubs enjoyed finding names of people he knew from the list of the first 13 hot air balloon pilots. As interesting as the sport of hot air ballooning is, the museum shows there's so much more. Did you know that balloons played a role during the wartime and during dramatic escapes? But some of the most interesting displays are the ones that give tribute to the brave pioneers that pushed the envelope, so to speak, with gas balloons. Their accomplishments are honored here. You'll definitely feel like you've learned some pretty interesting stuff after visiting. Well, the Hubs got to pretend he was flying once again. And we got to look out over the field that gave us a lot of great memories. Before we left, the Hubs checked out the puzzles to see if any of our balloons were on them, something we used to do a lot. Join us next time as we immerse ourselves in art and history in one of America's most beautiful towns. Don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss an episode.
How do you make 7 even? Take away the S.